Hi, welcome to the third part of the environment and the economic system lecture of the Marxist Economics course. This lecture series is prepared for the British Technical University Northern Cyprus campus. Well, last time, basically, the video ended abruptly because I have reached the 15 minutes mark again. I'm sorry for that. I was carried out a little bit with my speech. Well, I was talking that what I was talking on the air and basically the water might be also true for the earth, but on earth maybe the problems won't. The pollution that is directly affecting earth doesn't spread that fast. Although of course deforestation is something that might be affecting the rest of the world. Well, indirectly, what we do on Earth is also affecting environment also to some extent. The water. You might know actually. Amazon forests. Well, they are depleting for a long time. This might be something that might be a long story, but currently it is at the very brink. In 5 and 10 years, the whole ecosystem there might collapse basically. And that will affect a large area, the earth in a large area also. So, this is the waste side impact. Of course, in case of Amazon forest, it's directly transforming the environment. It's not to complete the waste side impact. They want to make cattle ranches from the forest, basically. They don't want forest, but they want cattle ranch area instead of the Amazon forest land. But waste might also affect them. Places like forests, basically, and especially the places you directly live in. It's affected by the wastes. So this is the waste side impact. So now, having defined this impact, how can we define basically the limit amounts, or in general, our economic system is not creating an impact that is actually changing our environment in an unfavorable way. Environmental economics, which I have mentioned before, has actually two different definitions. Actually, there's even a third one, which is not used. It's called very strong version. So the concepts they are introduced are called sustainability, which means actually we are able to continue our development if those kind of limits or limits are not passed. Otherwise, basically, the environment around us will collapse. We will be depleted of resources, and the economic system and society, as we know it, should be forced to change one way or the other. But if we are following those, we won't pass certain limits, then we won't go to that direction. At least the resources we extract from nature might remain the same, and we might continue, go on. We might still change our economic system and the society, but that will be now up to us. We won't be forced to do that by the limits of our resources. So there are two different types of sustainability. Well, there is a third type, very strong. Very strong is actually the one where each separate environmental source will be protected. So basically, the total resource it will provide by every lake, every forest, every major source will remain the same. If you are very strong, you are following very strong sustainability guidelines, it is seen as impossible because it's thought that economic system in some cases desperately needs sources from different places. So it needs to deplete the lake, or just basically even take the lake out because it is for the society living there. The lake should not be there, maybe, I don't know. Or the forest should not be there because you need a city area to live in. So instead, strong environment, strong sustainability concept is calculating the value of the all natural resources as long as you can keep that total value constant, which means if you deplete one resource, you replace it with another environmental resource somewhere else. In that case, you are strongly sustainable. What is weak sustainability in that case? Weak sustainability is you add up the all value of environmental resources and other non-natural assets. Like for example, hospitals, factories, things like that, which are also benefiting society. So you sum the value of the non-environmental assets and environmental resources, environmental sources, let's say, that provide you resources, add up their value, and make sure that the value of this combined sources of wealth for the society, for the humanity, or for the society remains fixed, basically. Well, you might say, how do we calculate the value of the environmental resources? Basically, we are creating, we are using the value, the value, market value of the resources provided by that source. Basically, it might be air, it might be, in that case, does air has a price? Does it sell salt and both? Maybe by an air conditioner, basically. Water, the trees, and based on the prices of these environmental sources, you set the total value of this environmental source by basically discounting the source. I mean, you can discount the future resources you will extract from the environmental source, and since discount rate will go to, when you go to the future, it will basically get larger and larger and larger. Basically, the value of what those resources you will extract in future will get smaller and smaller, so you can get a complete value of it. It's a complex method. Cost benefit analysis has this method, basically. Is the main method, main tool they use. The cost benefit analysis is a tool that can be used for many different purposes, but it's also used for this purpose. If you're interested, you can look to that. Look to the cost benefit analysis. It's a really interesting tool in economics. However, there's one point there. Basically, when you do that, you rely on the prices assigned to the resources extracted from that source, and those prices might change when you are, as we have seen in the water diamond paradox, as we have seen in other, let's say, in many other parts of the economics. Basically, when you have, basically diamond, water and diamond analysis, when you have a lot of diamonds, the price of diamond would fall, and when you have less water, the price of water will rise, actually. And just because it's opposite, you have little diamond and more water, you have a value of water high and value of diamond, value of water low and value of diamond high in actual economic system. So the prices we have in our economic system reflect on usually according to neoclassical school, availability. According to Marxian school, the cost of it, but the cost of it might also depend on the natural resources we have. Cost of production might also depend on the availability of the resources we have, and basically, I mean, how hard it is extract diamond from the resources and how hard it is to extract water from the available resources. Cost might be, social cost might depend on that. The main point is none of these things are basically the prices with any when we took any view on the prices stated by any different schools, we basically see that the prices are not related to the use value of the products. Basically, water might be beneficial for our survival, diamond might not be beneficial for the survival. Well, you might say if it is so useful, then the market will put a higher price. Well, certain things are necessary for survival, certain things are just for what. And even if its price is low, when we basically see a decrease in the price level, we will see society suffer more for water than diamond, basically. And the main point is, as the water start to deplete, its price starts to rise, and in that case, actually, well, think about the lake again. We take water from the lake, we take water from the lake again, we take water from the lake again. Let's assume that we have passed the limit. Water might start to deplete, but that depletion itself might not affect the price of water up to the very end of the water, the depletion process. And at that point, when suddenly the water provided by the lake starts to decrease, it might be too late. Well, that's for a local thing, but this analogy might also be, this case might also be true for the whole world. When the resources, global resources, start to deplete and come to a point of depletion where the prices start to rise, it might be just too late to adjust our valuation process. And this valuation is the way we define the sustainability. And the last thing, we should also mention that basically the buying power of the people is actually determining the value, the prices of the people who have higher buying power. They have more power to determine the prices in the market. So for many people, the water might still be scarce. They might still be getting not enough water to remain healthy, maybe enough to drink, but not enough to, not even maybe enough clean water to drink, but even if they got that, not enough water to stay clean or clean their houses, which basically means that still the price mechanism, in the case of large inequality, the price mechanism might not show us that certain people in the society are actually not able to get what they need to survive even. So while prices start to rise up initially, it might help a significant portion of the society, even in some cases a majority, but still price mechanism might not be showing that because those people might not have enough buying power. So this is the problem. I mean, this is the problem. This might be the problem of the price mechanism, and this mechanism is the very mechanism on which the sustainability concept depends. And that might be a problem with the sustainability concept. Still a very innovative concept, and the first concept may be provided by the environment school to measure, I mean, to be able to use to measure our limit, I mean, how we are doing. So it is useful, but maybe in future we might find other concepts that might be more useful, superior to this concept, environmental, to the current environmental sustainability concepts, basically. So now, well, we have just defined the sustainability. Now we should note how economic system, and basically here you should note that we will see what will economic system, how will economic system react, how we must say how much our economic system is likely to reach those limits where basically we are becoming unsustainable. But we might also ask what will happen if we reach those limits. Once we reach those limits, how will the economic system react after we reach those limits? And basically, this is as much as we will do in this course, because we won't see the environment. What we will see, we won't see the biological aspects of the environment, but we will see how economic system will react if those limits are ever reached. And in that sense, we have much to say. both as Marxian school, but also other schools also have much to say, basically. We will answer this question in the next part. See you in the next part.